Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the September 12th Al-Anon readings, Encourage to Change, and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment and look this over. The question is, what attitudes or opinions do I need to re-examine today? And this is about keeping an open mind and being flexible. This person gives a very funny example about grated cheese to illustrate the point that having a fixed idea about something is not always helpful. It's important to regularly check our opinions and our attitudes to make sure that we are remaining flexible. Today's reminder: by keeping an open mind, we increase the possibility of having new experiences. And the quote is from the Blueprint for Progress, Al-Anon's 4th Step Inventory. And it says, willingness to consider viewing the world in a different way can change our attitudes and help our recovery. What attitudes or opinions do I need to re-examine today? Oh man, I don't know. I guess it's 6 o'clock in the evening right now, and it's because I didn't really feel like recording up until this part of the day. And this part of the day is like when I tend to get the things done that I've been procrastinating about all day. And this is one of the things today which I've talked to my partner a couple of times about, because I do think that these videos help me, and that's why I do these videos as part of my 12-step work, my step 12 work, and also because it helps me to process things. And I've worked out several situations for myself while recording these videos, and the fact that there are people who actually who watch and maybe get something out of it is wonderful. I've talked about once or twice, maybe just once, about how this September 18th I'll have a full year of the updated videos, meaning all the ones that I had to delete because I was reading the exact passages and the World Service Organization asked me not to, and that began September 18th of 2024. So Like, if I have a full year, then people who want to listen to the summaries of the readings can access them at any time. So I'm thinking about, like, do I want to continue doing this? And the only thing that I can come up with is that doing them every day, it can be challenging. And like, sometimes I just don't feel like doing them. And so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep doing this. And, like, I'm not under contract or anything like that. I do this completely voluntarily, and I can stop at any time. But I don't know, there's part of me that, wants to give sufficient warning if that's what I decide to do, because part of the reason why I love Al-Anon so much is because it's stable and it's consistent. So people coming and listening to these videos are probably looking for stability and consistency. So I don't want to mess with that. So that's just kind of like my attitudes and my opinions, the question today. I'm just trying to figure out what is going to work for me. And if you have any thoughts or ideas, please feel free, as long as they're kind. I would say 99% of the comments I get are very kind. And I appreciate that very much. So I guess that's what it brought up for me today, is exactly what I just described. I will take a moment and look this over. This is about the 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, and action. And it's saying that sometimes becoming aware of something can feel uncomfortable, but it's very important that we face the reality of a situation so that we can take effective action to improve it. And once we're aware of a situation, it may feel like we don't want to accept it, but this passage takes the definition of acceptance from a quote in One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, and it's saying that it doesn't mean that we're submitting to an awful situation. It simply means that we're accepting the fact of a situation. Then we can decide what we're going to do about it. So acceptance is actually very liberating, because it makes it possible for us to make informed, realistic choices. Today's reminder: we need to give ourselves time to accept situations before we act on them. Once we accept a situation, we will find that we may have more options than we originally thought. And the quote is from Thomas Jefferson. And it basically says to follow the truth wherever it leads. And I would just say that it helps to reason things out with a trusted Al-Anon friend, a sponsor, because it can be, sometimes something may seem like we're becoming aware of it, but it may actually be like an old insecurity. And sometimes awareness is really a lack of denial, and it's a real sign of willingness to begin the recovery process. So I think that especially in times of crisis, it's very important to talk to people that we trust to make sure that the way we're seeing things makes sense. I know for me, when I'm feeling upset about something or unsettled about something, it helps for me to write about it. It helps for me. Sometimes writing about it first helps me before I can actually talk with someone about it, because sometimes it's just like a big ball of knotted up yarn in my head. And when I write about it, I realize that it's not as much as I thought, because in my head it just seems so much worse and so much bigger. But when I write it out, it already seems a bit more manageable, but then I can take that to someone that I trust, very often usually someone in Al-Anon, and talk it over with them, reason it out, and take it from there. And then once I figure that part out, it's easier to accept and then take reasonable actions. But someone in Al-Anon has helped me with all three of those things: awareness, acceptance, and action. These books are like gold. I know I say it all the time, but I mean it all the time. We'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.